global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happiness today. While the South is in their agitating for Biafra, have been screaming and clamoring for referendum. Of course, the Northerners have taken it a notch higher, a step further by taking a legal case, insisting that restructuring should not take place or constitutional amendments should be halted until Biafra referendum is granted, so that they can decide to leave Nigeria depending on how the vote turns out. But it looks like the Southwesterners have decided to push even faster than what the Biafran agitators are doing right now, using this dimension, even though it's still within the Nigerian context. Well, before we go into the news proper to find out how they intend to get this done even quicker than we thought, like and subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, according to the news, a socio-political organization, Yoruba Referendum Committee, Agbajowo, yesterday urged Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo and Ekiti State Houses of Assembly to pass into law the bill for a referendum, which has already been sent to them twice for action. The group hinged its call on the Yoruba aphorism that says one's head cannot be shaved in his or her absence, saying that the 1999 Constitution shaved the people's head in their absence. It therefore urged the Houses of Assembly to rise to the occasion, especially as the demand is supported by a growing number of Yoruba who have signed a petition to that effect. In a statement signed by Mr. Femi Odedeyi and Mr. Shenge Raman, the committee submitted that current suggestion by notable Yoruba individuals and organizations advocating a government of national unity or interim government are direct means of subverting the legitimate quest for true federalism in Nigeria. It further argued that such a move denied the sacrosanct of the people in whom power resides, but tends to arrogate power and authority to leadership, saying, being the creator of the problem in the first instance, such leadership cannot be the solution. The committee, while emphasizing that it is not calling for the cancellation or boycott of 2023 elections, recalled that in 1960, when the idea of a government of national unity was proposed by the Northern People's Congress (NPC), the Action Group (AG) rejected it on the ground that such a coalition government was not visible between two political parties of vastly divergent political philosophies. It added that the interim government of 1993 was instituted as a half measure to address the crisis emanating from the annulment of June 12, 1993 elections, saying that because of its shaky foundation, it did not take long for the military that set it up to torpedo it. There is no evidence to date that political upheaval or crisis engendered by the June 12 annulment has disappeared to warrant such calls. Instead of the said crisis abating, problems of structure and power relation in the country are getting worse by the day, the group said. The group then maintained that the option before the Yoruba is to organize a referendum within Yoruba land to decide the framework for their aspirations and self-actualization, while also advocating a similar template for other people of Nigeria to facilitate the federalization of the country. In advancing this course of action, the group noted that the only period of social and economic development experienced in Nigeria was during the federal and regional administration, attested to by the references to the Western region as our golden era by the Yoruba, and lately the Buhari administration's recourse to showcasing its economic achievement via the rice pyramid, an admission of the development in the then northern region as exemplified by the groundnut pyramids. The group further stated that despite the limitations of that period, the Western region between 1951 and 1959 under Chief Obafemi Awolowo was and is still recognized as the golden era, which the 1960 Independence Act and 1963 Constitution attempted to later neutralize by the virtue of their pernicious provisions. The group contended that given the historical political reality of Nigeria, it was clear that what is today regarded as our golden era occurred when we were practicing a parliamentary system of government. It therefore advocated a return to that system of government which ensures less monetization of electoral politics, as there was no need for even a region-wide canvas for vote to become the premier. This is in sharp contrast to what is obtained today under presidential system, in which gubernatorial and presidential elections cost a colossal amount of money, which keeps increasing with every electoral cycle. The Yoruba Referendum Committee insisted that what is advocating now could be achieved without having to postpone it till when successors of those in power currently come to take over. It also urged those in the corridor of power now to make this referendum a priority as it presents the collective aspirations of the people. Nigerians have been reacting to this, but if you look at what they are saying, they're not asking for boycott. It makes a lot of sense. So restructuring, because if you look at it, if you want restructuring, okay, through this referendum, we can practically be getting a restructured Nigeria. But then again, if the people don't want restructuring, by virtue of the referendum being added in the Southwestern Constitution, just the same way Amatekun was done, if they get the right vote and the right hearing, we could be seeing another Amatekun is a goal here, where the southwestern senators or southwestern politicians can come together and infuse it in their states, that there will be some sort of referendum. But the question is, those who benefit from this lack of referendum, let's be truthful to ourselves, it's actually the leaders. The leaders benefit from it, because if there is a referendum, you're going to weaken the power of whoever that is elected. Imagine you saying that the president or whoever that is going to mount that seat should infuse referendum. That could lead to either restructuring or breakup of the country, and by so doing also reduce his capacity and power, absolute power to do a lot of things, executive right. No one will allow that. It takes a selfless politician, it takes a selfless leader, or better still, it takes those in the opposition who are not benefiting, of which they don't even have the power to do that. It has to be those in the leadership to do that. But then, if the people can, push it right, get it right, and imagine if Southeast, rather, if this can be achieved, well, it will go a long way. But then again, if it is achieved, then we can see a replication, or we could be seeing a replication in other regions. But if you ask me, these guys are moving with all they have. They're gradually, bit by bit, getting it right. If they get this one, I can assure you they may be actually on their way either out of Nigeria or getting their region restructured. That's going to wrap it up. Let's meet in our comment section. What's your take?